Now, unless this has been shared and you're watching it later, people will be watching this live through the Blooming Social Media Foundation Academy Facebook group. We've decided that's the best place to put out our live content. There's a couple of advantages of doing groups over doing it over a business page. So if you're a member of a group, you get notifications as long as you've got them turned on every time some content is put on that page. So it's more likely that this content will get seen via the group than it would a business page. Remember that Facebook algorithm, that thing that decides who's going to see what when you publish it on your Facebook business page, will mean that less people are going to see it. So we'll try this, we'll see what it's like. You'll also notice that I'm doing it live and I'm doing it through a camera, not off my computer today. My computer's down here. Although I have heard on the grapevine over the next couple of weeks, everybody will have the capability of doing Facebook Live off their desktop computer, which is quite exciting, and that will open it up to a lot more people who should be doing it and aren't doing it yet. What I'm doing is I'm using a specialist camera that will kind of move itself around. So if I move around, you see it moves around and follows me. If I sit up, if I come forward, and it will move in and out of the shot. You know, not everybody can afford or even have the technical know-how to do this kind of thing, but it just adds a little element. If you want to know more about that, then do message me through the group and I can tell you how it's achieved. So this post, this live stream on Facebook is really focused on social media automation. Something that's been around for years, as long as social media has really been around. And lots of businesses choose to automate some or all the elements of their social media. And when I mean automation, I mean software automation, where they get the software to, thank people for following them or auto share a blog post straight out to Facebook. There's so many ways you can automate. And the big question I often get asked is, should I? Should I automate my posts? Should I just do them naturally? Do them live there and then? What are the benefits? I'm going to cover a little bit of that because it's a question I'm often asked. Well, the first thing is, when it comes to automation, it's very rare that you're going to be automating your social media for your client's benefit. The only time I would say you were doing that would be if you were automating it to be sent at a certain time. So, for instance, your blog, you want it to go out to Facebook at a time that people are more likely to see it. And that's the only time really you're going to be doing it for the customer's benefit. Mostly you're doing it for your benefit, and mostly you're doing it to save time. So if we take time in one hand, quality in the other, what we see, and this happens an awful lot, is that the automation drops the quality of the content. And what I mean by this is, any Twitter users out there would have seen this a lot. It's when Facebook and Twitter are linked, somebody does a Facebook post and it just shares a simple Facebook link out on a tweet. No imagery, no text, it's just a link and it looks awful. So you can see there the quality of that post has dropped. Other ways I've seen people do it is where they link it to perhaps their WordPress. They publish their WordPress, it tweets out, my latest blog is available here. Again, the quality's dropped again. It's not going to really entice people to come and check out that blog. It could be the best blog post anybody has ever created. You share it that way with automation and people are just not going to be into it. So I reiterate that. Automation will often see a drop in quality of the post. Now here at Blooming Social Media, we don't tend to do a lot of automation. We've tested most ways of doing it. And because we're often doing content for our clients, we don't want to see a drop in the quality. And clients don't want that. So we don't do a lot of automation, although we have in the past in some of our coaching and training sessions shown our clients how to automate press, especially if they're really stuck for time and they can only dedicate an hour a week to their social media. There are some elements of automation that will work. You've got to accept there'll be a slight drop in quality, but it can be achieved. So the one I'm going to advise you to use, and it's the only one I really advise clients to use, first thing is unconnect, your Facebook and your Twitter and your Twitter and your Facebook. Just don't do that. You know, when you tweet something and it uses the hashtags and the @ signs, and that gets automatically posted onto Facebook, those @ signs don't work. They're not clickable, and it just looks awful. And remembering, we speak very differently on the two platforms. Twitter, we speak very succinctly, we use a lot of abbreviations, we keep the message short and sweet because that is the nature of the product. Just checking my feed now, make sure it's still working. With Facebook, we can add a lot more narrative. You know, you can put a lot of characters. I think there's something like 2,000 characters into a Facebook post. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. So that gives you a lot more capability. Hi Richard, thanks for joining. Hi Giles, thanks for joining me. Giles Richards, if you see his name below, do follow him. He's MMA fighter, personal trainer, self-defense, does a bit of everything. Really good. So going back to that, sharing between Facebook and Twitter, and people sometimes link Instagram as well. Look at other ways of doing it that are more likely to entice people and don't look so lazy. You know, both ways. When you see Facebook's content automatically shared to Twitter, it just doesn't look right. And when Twitter content is automatically shared to Facebook, it certainly doesn't look right. And it turns people off your content. Remember, if you're putting stuff out for a Facebook business page, you want people to engage with that content as much as possible. Otherwise, they're just going to get bored of it. Right, I'm hoping this signal's all right. Remembering this is the first time I've ever used this tool. So the one I'm going to suggest that people explore is called If This Then That. Just search for if TTT, all one word, on Google. I'm not going to tell you how to use it because there's loads of great videos on YouTube that will do that for you. And what that enables you to do is to pick from a list of recipes. That's what they call it. So for instance, if every time you did an Instagram post, you wanted that to be shared out to your Twitter as an image rather than just a link, If This Then That will enable you to do that. If you want any photos that you tweet out on your Twitter account to then be shown in your Facebook, you can do that. If every time you send out a Facebook post with an image, you want to save that image into a Dropbox folder to use later, you can do that. There's 1,000,001 things you can do with If This Then That. So do check it out and let me know what you think of it. There's a lot of other automation out there, some of it free, a lot of it paid for. I'm sure many of you would have already discovered, especially with products like Twitter and Instagram, that you'll send something out and within a split second somebody has already come back and commented on your post. And they are bits of software, we call them bots, that are looking for keywords and hashtags, and if it simply says, if you see this hashtag, go back and comment. That's not really a way of engaging with people, so try not to do that. So that's a little bit about automation. If you have any questions about automation, just post them in the bottom of the live stream post and I'll get back to you and answer that. In the meantime, take care and have fun.